You have as much respect for the history of baseball as any player I've ever known or heard about. You've been to Cooperstown 7 or 8 times already just because you're interested in the history of the game.
もちろんそうですね。
Of course, I wanted to learn about the history, and that's one of the reasons. But really, as I played and as I hit milestones, broke records that some of the old Hall of Famers had accomplished, I felt a really close relationship with them. And so in order to get to know more about them and get to have a more closer relationship, I thought I needed to go to the Hall of Fame, Cooperstown, and be able to learn about them, be able to go in the basement and maybe get to touch some of their equipment. And that's kind of how I became closer to some of those players that I was able to tie or pass some of the records.
シスラー、ジョージ・シスラー
Yes.
という選手と、ウィリー・キーラーという選手ですね。
That's one of the things I've admired most about you. Sisler's daughter was at the game when you tied or passed him. And then when the All-Star game was in St. Louis in 2009, you visited his gravesite and said that you wanted to honor this grand upperclassman of the game. What a wonderful thing.
そうですね。やっぱそういう気持
George
ち。
Sisler's daughter came to Seattle and to watch, and I was so grateful for that. And really, the Cooperstown was Hall of Fame is there, so that I learned about these guys, and so it meant a lot to me to go to the gravesite, because that's where I was able to learn about them through Cooperstown, and so that's why Cooperstown is great for everyone, but especially for me, who I was able to get close to some of those that I was able to learn about.
What does it mean to you, given your respect for the history of the game, that you are the first Japanese player in the American Baseball Hall of Fame?
で嬉しかったのは、
It wasn't a goal of mine to be in the Hall of Fame. I started my professional career at 18. It's just a little, every day working on the little things and working hard every single day and just getting better every single day. And I didn't know I was going to go to America to play baseball and for the big leagues. And that became possible because of just the everyday, over and over and over practices and everything that I've done to get to that point. And as I went throughout my career, there was an opportunity that, hey, maybe I could go play in the big leagues. And that's when I had an opportunity in 2000 at the end to be able to go to the big leagues in America. And so that's kind of the steps that I had to take to get to the goals that I've had. In 2001, my career started here, and I didn't know that I could last a year. And people around me didn't know that I could last a year. But, our team did well. We won 116 games. I was able to contribute, and I was able to just take those little steps every single day. And 2-3 years, I was able to do well, and then fourth year, get 262 hits, and just took little steps along the way. And look at me now, I'm a Hall of Famer. You look at the Hall of Fame, I don't think it's full of guys that are just so talented than everybody else. Look at me, I think I just took little steps and worked hard to get to the next step, and here I am.
People may not realize that your English is actually very good, but you like to speak in these situations in Japanese to be as precise as you can. But in Cooperstown in July, will you speak a little bit of English in your acceptance speech?
英語で話します。
I will make my speech in English. When we have these interviews, I'm shaky in my own language, Japanese. I can't speak it, and that's how I've looked at it. Obviously, I've wanted to learn English. I tried, and it's really hard. If you would have told me, hey, you could put a chip in my head and I would lose 5 years of my life. You know, back then I would have done it, but now I'm kind of at peace with that, and that I will. Of course, I want to learn English. I want to do better, but yes, I will do my speech in English in July.